Throughout history, individuals have faced moments when trusting in God's promises felt nearly impossible. In Genesis 18, Abraham and Sarah exemplify this struggle, confronted with a promise that defied their understanding and experience. Their story highlights the tension between human doubt and divine assurance. As we begin this exploration, we consider how God responds to our moments of uncertainty and weakness. The narrative invites us to reflect on the nature of faith, especially when circumstances seem insurmountable. By examining Abraham and Sarah's journey, we gain insight into the ways God meets us in our frailty and encourages us to trust beyond what we can see. Abraham and Sarah, though steadfast in their faith, struggled to believe God's promise that they would have a son. Their advanced age made the prospect seem impossible, and years of unfulfilled hope had left them vulnerable to doubt. This moment highlights the natural human tendency to question and feel uncertainty, especially after repeated disappointments. However, instead of reprimanding them, God offers gentle reassurance. His response underscores compassion and patience, reminding us that temporary doubt does not disqualify faith. Through this interaction, the story illustrates how divine promises persist even when human confidence falters. God's response to doubt is marked by compassion and understanding. When Sarah laughed in disbelief at the promise of a child, God gently corrected her, yet still reaffirmed his commitment. This approach reveals a deep awareness of human vulnerability and the challenges of faith. Throughout the Bible, figures like Gideon and Thomas also wrestled with uncertainty, questioning what seemed impossible. Rather than condemning them, God met their doubts with patience and empathy, guiding them toward trust. These examples illustrate that moments of uncertainty do not disqualify us from His promises, but instead invite us into a deeper relationship with Him. God's plans for Abraham and Sarah were far greater than anything they could have envisioned. While they hoped for a child, God promised them descendants as numerous as the stars, laying the foundation for an entire nation. Through their story, we see that God's answers to prayers often exceed our expectations, unfolding in ways we could never anticipate. The birth of Isaac was just the beginning, eventually leading to the arrival of Jesus, who would transform the world. This narrative reminds us that even when our hopes seem limited, God's vision is boundless. Often what we receive is not only what we asked for, but something far more profound and impactful. God's mercy is remarkable in its reach, even extending to those considered wicked. Throughout history, we see examples of divine patience, such as God's willingness to delay judgment on Sodom, allowing time for possible repentance. Similarly, the thief on the cross was granted forgiveness in his final moments, demonstrating that grace is available up to the very end. These instances illustrate that God's mercy is not limited by human standards, but is offered generously to all. His grace provides repeated opportunities for individuals to turn away from wrongdoing and seek transformation. This enduring patience highlights the depth of God's compassion and His desire for redemption rather than punishment. Wavering is a natural part of our journey, and it does not exclude us from the promises that God has made. When questions arise, we are invited to bring them honestly before God, trusting that His understanding far exceeds our own. In moments of uncertainty, we can rely on His greater plan, knowing that He continues to work for our good even when we cannot see the outcome. As we experience mercy and patience from God, we are also called to extend that same compassion to those around us. Through every season, God's faithfulness remains constant, guiding us and reassuring us of His enduring presence.